what it is. Coming through today. What is it? September the 28th, 2025. Oh shoot, gotta do my intro. What it is, you guys, it is yo girl Cadillac. I am Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Light Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before all face to bleed. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Hold on, I cannot stand lint on my shirt. You literally, like in real life, you can't see it that good. But when you watch it back on a video, it looks so horrible. And then sometimes lint be like in my locks. And it just makes me want to delete the whole video. Like, what did I record that whole video for? But then I have to realize that, well, of course I know I'm not perfect. And I'm not even like the average content creator that is close to perfection as possible. I'm kind of just a middle-aged grandmama that works at a theme park, whose husband's in prison, who is dealing with their disabilities, and who is just documenting it and trying to get through it, girl. So of course I'm not going to come across as perfect or as good as I would like to. Like, I literally would love a much better image, but girl, I really at this moment ain't got the time. And if I wait, which a lot of content creators will tell you, look at that lint over there aggravating. They'll tell you if you wait till you're perfect and have everything figured out, you ain't gonna be making no content, because it's gonna take a long time for you to get to perfection. And how you actually do get to perfection is recording videos. Like, each video just gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, girl. See, just like that, I had some little smudges over my camera. Now I wiped them off. It's a little bit better. But real talk, I'm gonna have to do something about lint, or I'm gonna have to just stop wearing black when I'm on the camera, because it aggravates me. But that's not the point of this story, right? You know, I am teetering. I'm trying to stay within my testimony, telling the things that God has gotten me through in my life, right? But I also get sidetracking off on justice tangents, because I cannot stand injustice at all. So today I decided, let's get back on track with the testimonies and stuff. Anyway, spending time cleaning up this morning, I was listening to this content creator. I was just letting my algorithm do whatever it was doing. Sometimes I go in and actually look for my specific content creators, which I did watch Wisdom Speaks Life this morning. Her testimonies, still very powerful. But then after that, because I'm cleaning, I ain't got time to be like searching my little folks and stuff. So I decided to just let it go. A video crosses my algorithm about the truth about a job, which I really want to do a video like that, which I kind of already do videos about that, about this, the things I go through, because I feel trapped in the 9 to 5 rat race, right? I feel sometimes like I will never get out of this. Like, this is pretty much gonna be like this until, the day you go home, right? Until it's lights out. And I can't imagine this being my whole entire life. A job is, for me, basically is like, it should have been a season of struggle. Just a season of struggle. And then eventually you get on to your purpose, right? You get on to doing your career, what you are here for, like for real. It's this other guy too. I do not like his, oh, I remember his name. His name is Anton Daniels. I do not like his content. I'm so sorry. And I don't know how, and it doesn't mean that, because there's people that don't like my content. But I have asked the algorithm to stop showing me his content, and it still does, no matter what. So I've listened to some of his videos, and then I do know that it tricks me to click on it because he doesn't always have himself as the picture, the thumbnail, and you click on it and it's like, oh, it's him again. I don't want to see. I don't like his content. I don't align with his views on, and he's talked about different subjects. And I try to give the benefit of the doubt, and I try to see different vantage points. So maybe if I could learn why people feel this way about this and that. But I just don't like his viewpoints at all. So I click on his video, and it's about the Starbucks workers that are getting fired and they don't know what they're going to do. And then after they played them protesting and then the shutting down of the Starbucks, he says, well, I thought those type of jobs were jobs that were temporary, that you didn't make careers out of those jobs. And I'm like, this is why I don't like his content at all. It's nothing against him. I just don't like his content. I don't like his viewpoints. But it does lead you to, so possibly he made it out of, he was able to just work those type of jobs and let them just be stepping stones to where he was going to go, right? And this is not geared towards him because I don't like his content. I don't know him, so I don't know if I do like him or don't like him. He actually did a video interview with Miss Rajiva the Ruler, who I love. And I was like, I don't want to watch it because it's on his channel, but I'll go ahead and watch it. And it was pretty good. It's just I don't know. I can't harp there too much longer, but I just don't like his content like that. Girl. So rather than, instead of people who don't like my content coming and give me hate emails, hate comments and stuff, I don't do that. I just try to leave, and I try to tell my YouTube, please don't show me content, and it'll show it to me anyway. But I know how to, leave and just be like in a disagreement with somebody and not have to attack them. But anyways, I'm like, well, maybe he, some people do just make it. They have their plans, everything set out. They had their little job, and they were able to break free of it, and they were able to go ahead and make it that stepping stone. I think everybody that starts in the workforce, nobody thinks they're starting in the workforce and they're going to be here until they're retiring. And then even upon retiring, can't even retire. And that's what the other guy was also talking about. The first video I watched, he was like, I think he calls himself the 50-year-old dude or something like that, that he's been in the workforce for almost 40 years. And the only thing a job is going to do you is just pay the bills. J-O-B, just over broke, right? And back then it did just pay the bills, but now you really need 2 and 3 of them things to live how we were able to live prior, like in the 2000s and the 99 and the 2000s. Back in that time, you could just have a job and just barely, get by, right? And I don't think anybody starts these jobs and think, oh, I'm just going to work here forever until I retire. And I'm going to retire from Starbucks. And I'm going to retire from this place. You don't think that. But life does not always work the way you thought, the way you planned, the way you, because life has so many different nuances. And if it could be just linear, where all of where you end up is actually in your hands, like people love to tell you, it's on you. You want something, you got to make it happen. You. So that's giving you all power. And if you succeed, it was all you. If you fail, it's all you. It's your fault. Your fault you fail. You fail. Yourself. Pick yourself up. Stop complaining. But life is not really like that. Many multiple things happen and people end up in these jobs barely surviving. I remember prior to 2020 we're not even over 2020. Like we can't even, it looked like we're not even given the opportunity to recoup from 2020, right? Like, because things are scaling up so high to the point where, and they're not stopping the scaling. It's to the point where we're just not going to have anything, and can't afford nothing. Like, you can't even afford the bare necessities when we used to at one point have a little bit more than the bare necessities. So we are being taught a lesson that when you truly thought you were broke, you wish you can get back to that form of brokenness, because you weren't really broke. You just thought you were. You just wanted a little bit more than what you had. And you actually had a little bit more than what you realized. Now we're starting to realize, baby, I'm broke. I'm beyond broke. And I've depleted all my lifelines, maxed out all my credit, taken every loan that I could take. Back then, we didn't have that, right? We still had those just in case things, right? You've taken all the payday loans you can take and you're behind, and it's like, it's a difference now than it was then. But the last one that I remember was in 2008. And it started with the price of gas going up. Price of gas went up. Everybody stopped and kind of saved their money. And by stopping and saving your money, lots of places went out of business. They had to close doors. They had to lay off people. And it was all from one little thing that triggered all of it. And I used to work at a super center overnight. And I felt entrapped. I felt stuck. I felt like I used to say, when I signed up on the application, I didn't know I was marrying this job. I didn't know I was marrying this, like, for better or worse, until, DEATH do us part. I didn't know that's what I was doing when I thought this was temporary, because you always think you can move up. But the one thing about it, the job provides you like just enough. It's like rations, just enough, barely enough to get by. So you're reliant on it. And because you're reliant on it, but it also takes your best time of day, your most productive time of day. So it takes your productivity, it takes your energy, it takes your focus, it takes so much. And then, like, all together, like, over time, it takes your youth, it takes your health, it takes your hand strength, it takes your back, it takes your feet. When you had them good feet and you had that good back that could stand up, that could pick up this, that could move this box, that box. But now, after so long of working, your body's going down. It takes all of that. So, and it most of all takes your time. So we can do almost anything we set our minds to do if we have the time to do it. But it deliberately takes our time, a big, huge chunk of it. And you're spending more than that time because you're spending the time to prepare to get ready. You're spending the time through traffic. You're spending the time running in. And then you're there for about 8 hours. And then you're spending more time in more traffic. And then you're getting home and then you're tired. So you may do a little housework. Most time we divert everything we need to do to another day because now we're tired. It's taking our best out of us, out of our day. So when you go day to day and it ends up putting you in a cycle because the time flips over so much. It's so fast. You go to work, you're home for a few minutes, you're off, time to go back to work. Go home, got a few minutes to rest, got to get up for work, go back to work. It feels like you're at work more. Then you're at home, then you're with your family, and then you're doing things that would get you out of that situation. Like if it was school or if it was working on entrepreneurship like I do, if it was whatever you're doing, trying to build your business. So it kind of puts you in that cycle where you're just rotating, never getting to other things, right? And over time, months will pass by. You'll be like, whoa, it was just the beginning of the year. And I said I was going to do this, that, and the other. And now another year is almost on its way. And I didn't do this and didn't do that. And it ends up being like, beating yourself up. But it keeps you on this loop, this cycling loop. So when I worked there, and I worked overnight, which also adds more to the cycle because you go into something that's called shift work disorder. And it's like constantly being jet lagged. You don't sleep. I read the comments. It was a guy saying he slept in the bathroom. I've done that. Go to the bathroom to sleep. You get about 2 hours of sleep a day. This is no way the way God designed us to have to live, just to survive. So in that case, what are we surviving for? We're surviving to work. That's why I got this song. I work to live and I live to work. Hustle hard until it hurts. Work my fingers down to the bone. And once I pay my bills and got nothing to come home with. Hey, once I pay my bills and got nothing to come home with. Once I pay my bills, ain't got nothing to come home with. Hey, it's your girl Cadillac. But yeah, it gets you stuck. So just over broke keeps you right there at that limit. And you have hopes and dreams and aspirations of elevating past. But the problem is the job has taken your first fruits. And whatever else you do is going to be out of your second wind, or whatever energy or time or finances you might have after, like after bills are paid or after work. And, so I really do think it's all strategic. But I used to look back and I'd be like, why are older people working here? I too thought it was just a starter job. Like, I'm not going to be here now for the longest. It's until my rap career takes off, or it's until I get out of school and I'm good into my career. I won't never have to work at a place like this again. And I seen older people working there. And one time, this lady, it was a husband and wife, and they told me how they had their own business. They didn't never think they would be working at a place like a super center overnight in their middle age. But during that collapse, they lost their business. And they lost a lot of things. Some lost houses, some lost, cars, this and that. and they had to just barely get by. So they had to get that job. And then when you get into the cycle of a job, you end up getting stuck on that cycle. It may not be stuck forever, but it does end up usually taking quite a bit of your time before you get off that cycle, that pendulum that's going round and round and round, right? Like Joyce Meyer say, that rocking chair, you're moving, you're not going nowhere. I used to say it's like a treadmill. It's so many different, rat race, hamster wheel. It's so many ways to describe it, but it never ends up making you where you can get out of it. It's just to sustain you as you're on the hamster wheel. So how do you ever break free? And this is not a testimony of I've overcome, because I'm still in this endless, perpetuating cycle. Oh, I gotta hurry this up because I gotta go in the library to use the Wi-Fi. But yeah, so sometimes I do feel stuck in that cycle. I feel stuck like this is all I'm ever going to be able to do. This is the only way I'll ever be able to pay my bills, because I have ventured out so many times trying to pursue other things that if the wings of this thing could just get off the ground and take flight, I would not have to clock in on nobody's, time punch. So you do, when you're venturing out, doing your entrepreneurial things, there's two things that could happen. You can venture out and do it, and it could take off, and it could get you out of that 9 to 5, and it could work. Or you can venture out there, do it, and it could never take off. That's been my case. It never takes off. And then you just do it and do it and do it. And then it almost seems like a second job that you're just not getting anything. You're not even getting that small morsel that the regular 9 to 5 gives you, right? But unless you're comfortable with always just working your life away, you're going to have to keep going back out there and trying to find something that could get you out of it. And usually it's not. Some people take on, oh, let me just get a second job. No, not along that line. That might work for a minute, but then you'll be stuck on that pendulum of 2 jobs. And then when you need more money, you're going to get 3 jobs? So when do you live? When do you sleep? When do you take care of yourself? When do you take care of your health? When do you raise your kids? Because they're not going to be kids forever. When do you see your husbands, your wives, your parents? Because your parents may not be there forever. When do you do these things? When you're working all the time in your life. So you either or you can quit it all together. Just quit the whatever you're pursuing outside the job. But then at that point, it's kind of like you're like, okay, well, I'm all right. I'm going to just live paycheck to no check. I'm just going to live way down here at the bottom and barely survive, because you give up that dream of having more than that. So you either settle there, make amends with it, which I tried that. You either go get you a second job, and that becomes part of that perpetuated cycle, or you just keep trying. I know it's hard to get out of this 9 to 5 rat race. I have been trying my whole entire life since I started the 9 to 5 rat race, and I realized I didn't like that. The moment I got my first job, I knew I didn't know. Well, not my first job. I loved my first job, but work wasn't taking over my life at that time. And I had work-life balance. These jobs don't really allow you work-life balance anymore. So I would say my third job, when I went to that super center, that's what nope. And I'm an artist. No, I can't do this. I'm supposed to be creating something. My gifts are supposed to be making way for me, room for me. No, I'm sorry. I cannot do this. But unless you can be okay with that hamster wheel, you gotta keep trying. That's why I keep uploading videos. That's why I keep trying to project reach the world, because I'm not okay with just staying on this hamster wheel. All right, guys, that wasn't even what I was trying to say. The testimony of not having a support system my whole life. Because with that support system, probably would have been off this hamster wheel by now. But, you know, God takes my videos whichever way he wants them to go. Because I don't do good with coming straight off the top of my head. So it's just a conversation in the moment. And many times I look back and I'm like, oh, that was good. That was God. That was none of me, because ain't no way. I didn't know what I was talking about. All right, I will talk to you guys later. It's your girl Cadillac.